Hey, by the way, I haven't set up the game yet, but if you want to read this and kind of get vibes for what the game is going to be about, here you go. All right. Hello, friend. I just noticed that he was looking at me, and that made me a little bit uncomfy. He didn't used to have pupils until just then. Hey. Hello, friends, and welcome to The Kid at the Back. A little bit of a backstory on why I'm choosing to play this game. A few months ago, I talked about how I wanted to try more like darker yandere sort of games because I hear so many people talking about how much they really like them, and I want to know why. My experience with these sorts of games in the past hasn't been enjoyable. I haven't really liked the genre, but I see so many people really like these sorts of games. And so we started this sort of journey with 14 Days with You, which is often like, you often see these two games, 14 Days with You and The Kid at the Back, together. A lot of people who like one also like the other. And one of my bigger problems that I had with 14 Days with You is that it was a little too nice. I was like, this is okay, I'm enjoying it. But the whole point of this is I wanted to see sort of a darker story, and I wasn't getting that. This game is a little bit of a darker story. I can show you guys because we have another page for content warnings. So I can show you this one as well, everything that's going to happen in this game. I like that I was gesturing with my hand, but you can't see my hands. So that was cool. That was fun. And yeah, like I said, I've seen this game a lot. Again, it's another one of my Tumblr recommendations. And I wanted to, at the very least, try it out, even if it does eventually end up making me uncomfortable and I don't enjoy this game. I wanted to at least have this moment where I was trying it out, you know? I want to expand my horizons, expand my tastes. So we're going to see how it goes. With all that being said, I think that's everything that I need to say before we hop into the game. So let's do that and let's see whether or not I like this. This game, by the way, is still in development and incomplete. It may be prone to encountering some bugs and errors. I got a lot of things behind me. You can hear when I hit them. Let me like move myself so you can see. I don't know what any of these mean. I assume it's like save and load and settings and things like that, but those things are behind me. Let me also, while I'm here, because I can see it's quite loud. Well, okay, I can't. Once I'm here, how do I? That sounds a little bit better. Okay, is it touch loud? Let's hop into this. Oh, this game, by the way, is also rated 18 plus. This is, everything that we've already seen. So, hey, there's also some explicit and dark themes. Yeah, I'm a little bit scared by how much it's telling me. Are you sure? Are you really sure? But I also do understand because I know a lot of kids play these sorts of games and then are like, oh my God, like you're not allowed to say stuff like that. And it's very much like this is a work of fiction. Oh, it was many and many a year ago in a kingdom by the sea, okay? That a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. That's what I was just about to ask. Annabel Lee? Why'd we start with Edgar Allan Poe? And class dismissed. By our next meeting, I need a full report on everyone's poem that they have chosen. Apparently, I'm choosing Annabel Lee. I will not accept one paragraph. I need 2 whole pages filled with words. Everyone got that? The classroom broke into a series of "Yes, Professor," while some spared no time in packing their things, eager to be dismissed and disregarding the teacher altogether. Your literature teacher packs up her own things and exits the classroom. The moment your literature teacher left, the classroom broke into small groups as each student gathered up to meet with their respective cliques. Some engaged in conversation while some spared no time in exiting the classroom. A yawn escaped your lips. You turned your head and observed the clouds outside. The clouds are shaded in dark gray. The sky's once blue color is now turning the same lighter shade of gray. Hold on. The looming threat of rain made you click your tongue in irritation. Just my luck, I didn't bother to bring an umbrella, too. Standing up from your seat, you were about to grab your bag when you felt a tap on your shoulder. Turning around, you came face to face. She looks like such a girly pop. Okay, sorry, it's just... Ooh. Let's go. This music. You came face to face with cobalt blue eyes, her blonde hair shaped like swirls with its ends dyed in blue and pink, complementing her entire ensemble, even if it was just a white button-up that clearly looks too small for her. Damn, get it, music. Hot pink jacket tied around her waist and the school's black skirt. Her hand, which you assumed was the same one that tapped your shoulder, hung up in the air. She seemed unsure whether to continue or not, judging from the way her eyebrows furrowed downward while biting her glossed lower lip. She turned slightly, her head not fixed on you, but rather on whoever is behind her. You hear her whisper something under her breath before eventually composing herself and turning her focus solely on you now. Hey, you're going to lunch with us, right? I mean, you should. I don't usually see you in the cafeteria often, so you must not be eating properly. Damn. Okay. I love how she looks like a stereotypical, like, mean girl. But that was the nicest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. How can you keep up with classes looking like that? Excuse me? You took a step back, clenching the strap of your bag as you glare at the blonde woman before you. Who was this woman? I apparently didn't like that. Who does she think she is? Judging from the woman's expression, she finally came to realize the words that just came out of her mouth. Brittany. A familiar voice interrupted the two of you. You turned your head to where the voice was, and there stood none other than your old friend. That's really insensitive. Imagine if someone else told you about how you look. His familiar orbs, or of azure blue, nearly replicating lapis lazuli's, and his chocolate brown hair tied loosely in a low braid. Wow, the term orbs. Sun-kissed skin enhanced his handsome features, adorned with a black, long-sleeve button-up and an indigo vest to add to his clean look. He's known as Jericho Ichabod. Crow for short, the class representative and a close friend of yours. Well, the only close friend you have. Okay. Crow made his way to your side. With a hand on his hip, he reprimands the blonde-haired woman next to you, and the said woman just shrugged her shoulders. He placed a hand over your beating heart. The close proximity between you two caused a blush to appear on your cheeks. Ooh. No matter how many times you get close to him or him getting near you, you'll never get used to it. I apparently have a crush on this man. His whole aura just gives a warm feeling in you. The butterflies in your stomach thrashing and raging, begging to be released. Yeah, you may have a bit of a crush on him. The woman named Brittany just rolled her eyes, seemingly used to Crow's reprimands. Well, you're the one who insisted on me initiating talk. Ooh. You could have just done it more nicely, you know? Like a simple invite alone. Crow gives you a small smile while handing out something to you. You look down to see it. The background music makes me laugh every single time. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just, I really like it. It was your ID. Oh, you dropped this, by the way. My name is. My name's Kit. My last name is. Take it. Oh, the ID shows my name along with my. Wow, what a way to create a character. I'm really liking this. You stare at your own ID picture and see yourself more. Oh, okay. Neutral. Will be called a kid. Cool. You looked at your ID picture, seeing a young person and reading your name with your eyes. That's always good. I hate when I read my name with my mouth, my tongue. Uh-huh. Maybe my eyes are itching. Interesting. Your fingers briefly brushed against his. Can't I go back? I can, but I guess not everybody knows how to go back in these sorts of games, so that does make sense. Just in case, like, you started to create a character and then you're like, no, wait, I want something else. Your fingers briefly brushed against his. You bit your lip, then muttered a small thank you before pocketing your school ID. Crow gives you a closed-eyed smile, returning with his own thank you. Okay, you don't have to thank me for thanking you. Then turns his attention back towards Brittany. Following up behind Brittany are 3 more people. Oh? The tallest of the 3 is a sporty-looking man, clad in a green and yellow jersey with the number 10 settled in front. His eyes are bright green, the color that kind of reminds you of green apples. His skin a beautiful brown that nearly matches his curly hair, while the stubble is nested on his chin, indicating his maturity. The second tallest is a man in a purple hoodie. His eyes are sharp and slanted, with long lashes, adorned with teal-colored orbs underneath. Orbs every single time. His hair straight and styled into a hime cut, save for a short strand tied with a red ribbon, and a low ponytail bound with the same shade of red behind him. He looks uninterested with what's going on at the very moment. And the last, but not the least, is the shortest of the 3, maybe within the group as well. Her skin pale, her face dotted with a few freckles then and there, as rectangular-shaped frames shield away orange orbs. Her hair is short and loose, like waves. She wears a black button-up under an orange vest and a black skirt matching Brittany's. I love how everybody has, like, their color. Damn, Britt, you sure are bad at socializing. Hey, Gio, seems like you have competition. The tall jock, clad in yellow and green sports jersey, lets out a loud laugh, causing some students to turn to look at him. Brittany's face grew red from embarrassment. Gritting her teeth, she crossed her arms while tapping her foot on the ground. This only made the jock laugh even harder. Shut the fuck up, Daryl. You're causing a scene. Also, if you were me, you would have done just as badly. That is, in fact, not true. I'm a lovable guy. Oh, yeah? As the 2 argue, you turn your head towards the other tall male in a hoodie. Sensing your gaze, he looks down at you, his hand still in his hoodie's pocket. Yo. A sudden chill went down your spine. Oh, okay. You quickly averted your gaze away from the imposing male and landing on the meek girl in orange right next to Brittany. She hasn't spoken since she arrived with the other 2 males. I can't read, apparently. I'm doing such a bad job at this, but okay. But judging from how attached she is to Brittany, you're guessing she's closer with her than the rest of the group. She kind of reminds you of yourself when you were still new to the school with no one to talk to. Not until Crow befriended you, of course. Were you as clingy to Crow back then as she is with Brittany now? Sorry, they're kind of a rowdy bunch, huh? I hope you're not too overwhelmed. They sure are. Something. Look, Kit, you're still free to not join us for lunch if you're uncomfortable. Meeting new people is overwhelming. I just want to let you know that I respect your feelings and that you matter, Kit. Crow reassures you with a worried smile on his lips. You turn back to the group, the tall jock named Daryl now bothering Geo with an arm around his shoulder. The visible irritation on Geo's face did nothing to sway Daryl's happy-go-lucky personality. Brittany leans on one of the desks with her arms crossed, striking a conversation with the bespectacled girl next to her. What's her name? I didn't seem to catch it last time. Crow glanced at where you were pointing at. Oh, Jessie? You can call her Jess for short. She's best friends with Brittany. She kind of reminds me of you back when we first met, thanks. All shy and quiet. Only that you're cuter. Oh, thank you. Crow pinches your cheek playfully and you groan, but your mock annoyance is betrayed by the small smile that formed on your lips. How time flies, huh? That's right, you got yourself acquainted with Crow in your sophomore year. Before you left for the city, your father emphasized the importance of having companions and establishing friendships, most especially in this college. Okay, why specifically this college? Olympias University, the largest university in Titan City, okay? It's known for having the best facilities and the best education, where you're guaranteed to rise from the bottom to the top. Well, that's what the advertisement tells you. You tried getting to know people during your first year, but to no avail. No matter how much you try to make friends, you just couldn't seem to bring yourself to talk to anyone. And to your dismay, no one seems to bother to even befriend you. Sure, you would talk with a few classmates for projects, but nothing goes beyond that. As if they're scared of you. Oh, I have a feeling. Or more like, disgusted? Oh, interesting. You can never tell. The looks you've received have all been mixed signals, some bad, some out of pity. That is until Crow came into the picture. Among everyone, Crow was the sole person who approached you with the intention of friendship. You were wary of him at first. Well, why would someone want to befriend you out of nowhere? Your past experiences caused you suspicion. You've had a history with people who tried to earn your good graces because you were somehow beneficial to them. You thought Crow would be the same case, so you ignored him. But then he kept following you, trying to strike a conversation with you every now and then. This is how I've obtained a lot of my friends in real life, so yeah. You tried to dismiss him, ignoring his presence as usual, but Crow was determined to break down your walls and kept insisting on tagging along until it annoyed you once. Just once. That is, until it happened on the last day of your first semester in your sophomore year. You fell victim to one of the school's biggest hidden flaws, okay? If Crow wasn't there to stop them, you could not begin to imagine what might have happened to you. Thank goodness you're unharmed. You're concerned about me? What about you? You're the one who's hurt. Thinking back, you thought he was crazy and stupid, taking blow after blow until the perpetrators got bored and left the both of you, okay? Well, that's the whole point, right? As long as you're not hurt, this is nothing. Crow, are you okay? Do you perhaps have some self-consciousness? You think that you're not a good enough person to just exist? You're crazy, you know that? And he just laughs it off, wincing due to the bruises on his face. I never got your name, crazy person. Jericho Ichabod. Oh, but just call me Crow. Nice to meet you, Crow. I'm Kit. You brought him to the clinic that day and became inseparable ever since. Right after that incident, Crow promised to never get in fights again. He continues to keep his word on it. Okay. You really owe it to him. You look back up at Crow. He tilts his head. Something on your mind? Nothing. Just happy that you're my friend. He looked at you with raised eyebrows, probably surprised at how random your thoughts seem. He didn't say anything as he let your words sink in, and his usual gentle smile appeared on his face. Crow inched closer to you, indicating that he feels the same way. Brittany must have taken notice of the amount of time wasted in talking and arguing as she turns to you one last time. We've talked a bit too much. We'll end up not getting any seats if we keep this up. Damn. So, are you coming with us or not? Caught up in your little daydream about the past, Brittany finally spoke up, catching your attention. You looked back at Crow, recalling his words. We're getting funky again. Don't force yourself to join if you're still uncomfortable. You then decided to I'll go with them. I'm pretty sure this leads to a scene that I've seen on Tumblr, but we'll go with them. Brittany hummed a sound of content before turning her heel and heading towards the classroom's exit, her 3 other friends following behind her. The Crow looks back at you by the door, waiting for you. Catching up, you raise your head to meet his azure orbs once more. Your heartbeat quickens within your ribcage in response. You two stop oogling at each other and hurry up. Brittany's exclamation made the both of you jump. You merely look down, using your hair as a curtain to hide your reddened face. Crow just rubbed the back of his neck. You two eventually followed behind Brittany and the rest of the group towards the cafeteria. By the way, I want to know what this... Oh. Okay. The cafeteria is loud and crowded. Tables are filled with students while the rest are lined up by the counter grabbing their lunches. A groan escaped Brittany's lips as she looks around for any sign of a vacant table you all could share. What a fucking great time to not bring lunch, huh? Next time I'm preparing my lunch the night before. I wonder why it's so crowded today. New lunch menu, perhaps? It seems like it. We'll be left with nothing else if we keep standing around here and loiter. Hey, Geo, Daryl. Oh yes, what is it, Your Royal Majesty? Daryl cooed with a teasing tone. I don't know why those 2 words were really hard to say back to back. Brittany rolled her eyes at his silly gesture. Could you two look for a vacant spot while the rest of us line up? Saves us time that way. Yeah, sure, Britt. Let's go, Geo. Wrapping an arm around Geo's shoulder while ignoring his obvious irritation for the said male, the two walked away in hopes of looking for an unoccupied table. Brittany then turns to you. Oh, right, Kit. I'm not sure if you have packed anything like those 2 did, but if you want to line up with us or go help them find a table, make a choice. That was so direct. You decided that I'm the type of person who buys my lunch. I'll buy. All right, then. Daryl, Geo, go find us some seats while we line up. Daryl waved Brittany away, mouthing, I got it, before turning around with Geo, the jock's arm wrapped around his grumpy friend's shoulder, dismissing the visible annoyance on Geo's face. We read this already, but with different words. Come on, Jess, let's get in line. Yes, of course. You may go first, Britt. I'm not sure that I like that interaction, but okay. With haste, Jess trails behind Brittany. Let's get in line as well before more people start piling up. We don't want to end up with the bad stuff. Don't we, Kit? Why does this place apparently run out of food? What does bad stuff mean? You can say that again. I don't think this is a good university. You shuddered at the thought, remembering the leftovers from the school cafeteria. With a nod, you and Crow made it in line with the rest of the student body. While you were lining up, Crow turns his attention back to you. I'm glad you decided to come with us, Kit. I know it may seem selfish of me to drag you along, but there are new friends now. I hope you don't mind. Say nothing? You said nothing, but bit your lower lip. I didn't like either one of those options. Your silence caused Crow to furrow his eyebrows, but he didn't utter a single word. Once everyone got their food, Brittany turned her heel and walked towards where Daryl and Gio were seated. One of these times I'm going to say their names like intermashed. I'm going to call them like Gerald and Dio. Move your ass aside, Daryl. I'm sitting there. Oh! A loud gasp escaped Brittany's lips, her mouth open in wide shock. The food on her trays now splattered across her white uniform. Brittany! Oops, sorry about that. You should have watched where you're going there. Oh, I'm about to pick a fight. Multiple footsteps came near. A trio of girls shows themselves before you. The tallest of the bunch, the red-haired one, placed a hand over where her heart is and lets out a mocking gasp at the mess. Brittany's eyes met with the red-haired bully. Judging from the way Brittany's face twisted with rage, they seemed to know each other. Britt, are you all right? We should get yourself cleaned. You fucking bitch. This is my only clean uniform. How fucking dare you? Oh, look at Miss Claire all flared up. Careful there, sweetie. You'll get wrinkles. It's not like you're not ugly already. Damn. Please, Brittany, allow me. The mean girl coos at Brittany. Her two friends behind her laughs along with her antics. You've got a bad feeling about this. The entire cafeteria breaks in a few murmurs and whispers, their attention now fixated on the group of girls. Some stopped eating while some took out their phones, ready to film to whatever happens next. Crow tried to come in between them to stop the fight, but he wasn't fast enough. Splat. Next thing we knew, another loud gasp was heard. A wide smile etched itself on Brittany's face. The mean girl's white uniform, that's pink, but okay, is now smeared with varieties of wet sauces and oils, matching Brittany's own dirtied uniform. Speaking of, aren't we in college? Why are we wearing uniforms? Jess's face filled with shock. The food from her tray is now gone. No! Not Jess's food. Take that, shit stain. You fucking bitch. Food fight. The moment Daryl howled those words, the cafeteria went into a hectic frenzy. Food and drink started flying across the area as each student started tossing whatever they could get their hands on. Are those trays? Ooh. That was my head. Kid, everyone stop this madness at once. A sudden wave of pain made its way to your head, and the last thing you saw was Crow calling out your name before passing out. Whoops. Ugh. Where am I? Oh, you're awake, thank goodness. Crow? You tried to sit up, but a sudden shot of pain went through your head. stopped you. You reached out to touch where the ache was coming from, but Crow stopped you by holding on to your wrist. Careful now, the nurse already bandaged your head. Don't push yourself. Damn, I got hit hard by that tray. Did I need stitches? Crow gently pushed you back down on the medical bed. He takes a lone stool and takes a seat right next to you. Ugh, what happened? Well, after Daryl started that mess of a food fight, the principal was called in to stop it. Daryl got lucky enough to escape when he did. Gio was nowhere to be seen. As for Brittany, what about her? Well, Jess helped her out to grab a new uniform from the principal's office. Then why does my head hurt so much? Someone somehow threw a tray and you were unfortunate enough to get hit by it. Thankfully, I got you out of there before things got ugly. Thanks, Crow. I owe you one. I'm always there for you, Kit. Never forget that. Anyway, it's around 1:45 in the afternoon right now. I should probably head out to my next class. You should stay here until the nurse gets back. You'll be all right alone here, right? You wanted to say no, but stopped yourself before you could. Yeah, you can go ahead. You sure? Yeah, I'll be fine, Crow. You've done enough for me today. You gave him a small smile, but he did not return it. Crow squeezes your hand, quite hesitant to let you go. Eventually, he loosened his grip. He stands up from his chair and walks towards the exit. But before he could leave, he turned around and gave you one last smile, eventually closing the door and going out of the infirmary. You groaned and laid back down on the bed, feeling the bandage on your head. At least the pain is slowly dying a bit. I hope it didn't leave a mark on my head. You're guessing you came face to face with the edges of one of the metallic trays. Since when did trays hurt that much? Then again, there were athletes in the area, Daryl being one of them. Just then, you heard the door opening, the nurse's voice echoing through the room as the clicking of her heels got louder as she drew closer. That's not the nurse. What happened to your hand? The only thing that I was thinking before noticing the blood, though, was we were talking about her heels, like the clicking of her heels. And then we see him, and I was like, are you wearing high heels? Ooh, get it. The school nurse entered, and following her was a tall student dressed in black. He seems to be holding on to his left hand. You can see the red streak of blood overflowing. That looks bad. He sure had it worse than me. Damn, bro. Metal tray as well. I wonder what happened. You should be thankful you didn't cut a vein. How were they able to get past you with that? Huh? How were they able to get past with that pocket knife in the first place? Who brought a knife to a food fight? The nurse sighed. It seems like she got her hands full with another student. The latter, however, didn't say anything as he let out a small hiss when the nurse dabbed some disinfectant on his wound. You sat up slowly, careful not to hit your head on anything else, before stealing a glance at the student and the nurse. Your eyes met with reddish-orange ones. Your heart raced as you felt your heartbeat quicken. Oh my god. Main character falls in love too fast. What an unusual color. Maybe it's not, your heart could beat for many reasons, but they remind me of the setting sun, okay? The nurse finishes up wrapping around his wound. Sorry, I'm paying attention to the music now. I don't know why. Music and visual novels just always makes me giggle. A blotch of red slowly seeping out and staining the once white bandage. However, his gaze is still fixated on you. The nurse follows his line of sight and finally takes notice of your conscious figure. Ah, you're finally awake, mixed thicket. She approached you with a bottle of painkiller she took from one of the transparent cabinets on the walls before handing a pill to you. Don't bother asking whether or not I'm in pain. Just assume. How are you feeling? Does your head still hurt? It's slowly dissipating, ma'am. Thank you. She hands you the pill and you take it down your throat. That's always good. That's a good place to take pills. You're free to stay here for a while longer, but you need to return to your class as soon as you're feeling better. Thank you. You gave the nurse a nod. She, in return, hums in approval before going back to the taller male in black. As for you, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Words. If ever your bandage gets dirty throughout the day, don't hesitate to come back here. Huh? And I'll reapply it with a new roll. Hold on. Many things are happening to me right now. Give me a second. Brugmansia? I didn't want to have to struggle with it while I was reading. I wanted to take my time to go back and kind of sound it out in my head. Secondly, I'm sorry. I got hit in the head by a metal tray, but I'm feeling generally okay. Don't really have a headache. It's dissipating. I get to stay here until I feel better. He got fucking cut in the hand with a knife. And he's just gonna get bandaged up and then get sent out his way? I feel like my problems are a little bit lesser, but okay. Begone. This is my clinic now. The taller male hummed. He turns on his heel and made his way towards the exit door before pausing. I'll return to my class now. Thanks for patching me up, nurse. The tall student gives you one last look with his fiery red eyes before making his exit with a click of the door. The nurse lets out a sigh, rubbing her temples, feeling a headache surfacing. I swear that child comes here every other day. Yep. Oh, you're not classmates with them. Odd. I thought he might know you from the way he was looking at you. No, I haven't seen him around. More like he never bothered to look who's around you, since no one would even bother to spare a glance at you. Well, either way, don't get into too much trouble like him, all right? That raises a question in your head. Just how bad were the guy's injuries that he comes to the nurse's office almost every other day? Well, he got stabbed today. It kind of explains why she's been sighing hard ever since she brought the tall male into her office. With an injury as bad as a near stab wound that was not near on the palm, you could only take a wild guess. Honestly, yeah. And as much as you were curious to know what transpired, you're nearly late for your next class. No, stay here. Eyeing the clock on the top of the door frame, you got out of the medical bed. You thanked the nurse and made your way out of her office. And then I passed out because that transition took a while. Barely making it to your next class, you slid the classroom door open, earning you a few looks from the students inside the room. Turning to the podium, you exhaled a breath you didn't realize you were holding when you realized that your teacher was still absent. Damn, a breath you didn't realize you were holding, plus also all the talk about orbs. Wow. Fixing your composure, you scanned the room. A few easels and shelves filled with brushes and bottles stained with acrylic paint guaranteed that you made it to the right class. Oh no. You make your way to your seat. Once settled down, you groaned, placing your elbows on the desk and resting your chin on top of your hands, waiting patiently for your professor's arrival. What is the groan about? Though you couldn't help but notice the feeling of someone staring at you. You shook it off, thinking that it must have been the lack of sleep. Definitely, yeah. You look out the window. Or maybe it's the cold weather. Yeah, it's snowing outside, therefore somebody's watching me. Hearing the classroom door open, your art professor makes his way inside, his large round belly standing out, round spectacles sitting on top of his nose, and a stereotypical brown beret on his head. He greets the class before starting his lecture. What's the beret about? What? Art exhibit project featuring various eras of art as part of our thesis. This time we're tasked with expressionism. Remember, this is all part of your paper, and not to mention making a name for yourself, of course. Ho, ho, ho. Or like taking the credit of a student's work and using it to advertise your shitty school. He scoffed at the thought. Hope you all got a partner already by this time. For this term, I'm tasking you all to create 3 works based on the exhibit's theme. This is where you want to throw your desk out the window. How could you forget? You weren't present during the previous meeting, and you absolutely knew no one in this specific class. Why were you taking art again? Oh, right, your father was an artist, as he was a farmer. Huh? It was all for him. And maybe you can make a name for yourself with your works, if ever your life as a gardener wouldn't turn out the way it should. Huh? All part of Plan B, and if that fails, I've got Plans C and D. I have yet to make up the rest. Or I guess I'll die. You shake away your silly thoughts. The problem is now at hand. You do not have a partner to work with. Maybe look around the room. Now I want all of you to go with your chosen partner for this project, so I can start explaining your tasks. Eventually, you were forced out of your seat since your seatmate's partner will be occupying it for the class. You curse at yourself. You can only hope that you're not the only student who didn't get their own partner for this class. So typically speaking, MC, classes are going to have multiple students, and normally the teacher is going to know if they have a class of an odd number of students. So they'll probably say when they're telling you, pick a partner, that they'll say, I need one group of 3. But upon looking around, it seems like everyone is calm and collected. Were you the only one panicking here? Unlike the rest of the class scurrying around to meet their partner, you were the only fool who was still standing still. Note on the only one standing, because from the corner of the classroom, there's a single student not bothering to stand up from their seat. Their seatmate had left to pair with someone else, leaving a vacant spot. It's that guy in the clinic. No way. I never knew he's in the same class as me. Is he not going to bother with his partner? Unless... Hey there. He looks up from his desk and looks at your approaching form before you're eventually standing next to him. It's you. Seems like you're a bit lost there. Do you have a partner? Paying attention to the music again. No. Well, just your luck then. Me neither. So, do you want to be partners? Sure, why not? You took the vacant seat right next to him, sure. His book now tucked away, and on his desk is now a pen and a piece of paper, seemingly ready to take notes. Hey, I never got to know your name. Don't give me the full one. I don't want to read that. It's not quite important. Well, at least I should at least know what to call you instead of Green Street Guy. He raised a brow at your silly nickname you gave him before slightly shaking his head. I had a feeling you were going to do it. I got the Sullivan part at the very least. It's the Brugmansia that I'm not 100% sure about. But you can just call me Soul. Soul. I like both of them. Your name contradicts with your whole glam. Not gonna lie. I like that one. Not that you don't dress well. I mean, you look good. Damn. A pinch of red makes its way to his face. Soul bit his lower lip as he readjusts his collar. I should just shut the fuck up. He averts his gaze, biting his inner cheek. Thanks. You look good, too. I should introduce myself before this gets any more awkward. Well, I'm Kit. Nice to finally know your name, Sol. Sol nods with a smile forming on his lips, then returning his attention back to the professor. 3 artworks to showcase. Note it has to be some form of expressionism. Mediums will be strictly traditional. Your professor then proceeds to give the other pointers for your project before leaving you and the rest of the class for the day. Just leaving? Everyone in the classroom proceeds to talk with their partners, already brainstorming ideas on what they're going to showcase, and hopefully could get a high grade. You turn to Sol as he took out his own charcoal pencil and his sketch pad for the class. You got any plans for our first display, Sol? Expressionism is about conveying one's feelings, right? Fuck if I know. The easiest for now is a portrait, okay? Let's use your face as an example. My face? He lets out a low chuckle. There, you're making a cute expression right now that can be considered as expressionism. Huh? Oh, but I have this bandage on my face. Wouldn't that hinder the process? You don't have to have the bandage in the final work. You recall the events that happened back in the cafeteria. Also, I forgot about the bandage. I can simply ignore it. Or make something better out of it. Ooh, flower crown. Trust the process. He seems like he already has an idea on what to do. And judging from that half-filled sketchbook of his, he's quite familiar with the concept of art, unlike me. I am not that good at art. I'm sure you're fine. Everyone starts somewhere. No. Plus, I can't really judge you since I haven't seen your work before. Along with this damned injury on my hand. Oh, right. Let's not stress that hand anymore. Well, prepare to be amazed. That's the spirit. With newfound determination from Sol's cheering, you took out your own sketch pad and charcoal pencil as you worked with his portrait. Suddenly, apparently, I'm drawing him. While you were sketching up, you can't help but avert your eyes on his bandaged hand from time to time. Seems you're quite curious to know what happened to this, huh? And you weren't slick with it either. You froze when he caught you red-handed, just like the red seeping out from his hand. You stopped drawing. Sorry, that was rude of me. Fine, this is just the usual for me. I've gotten worse injuries than this. You raised a brow at that. Not the worst. If you don't mind me asking, what happened? He paused and averted his eyes, but opened up to speak. Nothing much. Was just minding my own business. Got assaulted. Oh, okay. I had to defend myself. He talked as if it's just another normal Monday for him. That normally happens on Tuesdays, I feel. Your eyes furrowed. He noticed and just chuckled. No need to worry about me. All that matters is that I'm still here. Okay. You didn't say anything, however, continuing on with the drawing. Your movement slow and now refusing to look at his injured hand. The school is way more fucked up than I thought it would be. The sound of the school bell rang across the classroom and through the hallway. You quickly made a few more lines on your portrait before giving up. You closed your pad and proceeded to shove it inside your backpack, earning you a confused look on your partner's face. Not even going to show me what you made? No. It's not done yet. That never bothered me. Can I see it? Wait. How about a small deal? I'll show it to you once I'm done with the portrait, and you still need to draw me once your injury gets better. Sounds like a plan? You say with a wide grin on your face, trying your best to convince the male. He stares at your face for a short moment before eventually leaning back on his chair, arms crossed, and nods along with your deal. Packing your things, you and Soul continue out to the hallway. Do you have a phone? We should exchange numbers and update each other so we can do the next 2 more tasks. Soul then takes out his own phone and asks for your number. You recite it out as he inputted it on his phone. Let me try to send you a message. Damn, okay, you think I'm lying to you? You nodded and looked at your phone screen and saw a new notification from an unknown number. This must be Soul's. What did he text me? Sup? Nice, okay. You type so differently from how you look. I pressed space multiple times. From the corner of your eye, you see Soul's eyebrow raised at your text. What's that supposed to mean? That was such a, bro way to text. Nothing. You chuckled. He rolled his eyes. Your stare lingers on Soul's face. His smile is embedded on his handsome features while he looks at the block of text on his phone. You bite the bottom of your lip as you recall the events that happened today, mostly meeting new people, first formally meeting Crow's group and now meeting Soul. Back then, you struggled to form friends throughout college, that you were convinced you would be graduating without making a single connection, which would undoubtedly disappoint your father, and you were ready for it. Damn, what a sentence. You thought to yourself, these are odd people, eccentrics at most. All misunderstood people, all human, all the same. I've never really thought about that about a person before in my life, but okay. A sudden wave of determination washed over you. With a hand on your chest, you stare into Soul's orbs, making him tilt his head slightly. Soul, I want to be friends with you. I can sense that people tend to misunderstand you. And your overall personality. Who says these sort of things? Soul is quiet, but his gaze remains on you with a lingering curiosity. But let me be different. I want to know you. I want to understand you, Soul. If you let me. He blinked once, then twice, then a chuckle. He puts a large hand on top of your head, then ruffles your hair. Thought he was going to turn me around. Get out of here. All right, then, let's mark today as the start of our wonderful friendship. Yeah! Friendship! You playfully pushed his hand off of your head and nudged him on the shoulder. He lets out a small laugh at your poor attempt. I'm not saying that. As to you too. Just Soul is fine. Good. Well, I need to get going. See you tomorrow? Huh? Oh, of course. See you tomorrow. Why'd you react like that, bro? Giving Soul a wave of goodbye, you make your way towards the school's exit. Don't call me that. No, stop. If I didn't even fully get out that ew, it was just eh. As you walked through the hallway, your eyes caught on something on the nearby bulletin board. A poster was plastered on the large board. Which one are we talking about? The Hollows Ball? It's really the only one that has any sort of detail. Oh, yep, sure enough. School, large hall and court. Free entry. Begins at 8. Lorem ipsum is simply dummy text of the printing and typesetting industry. Lorem ipsum has been standard dummy text ever since the 1500s. When an unknown printer took a galley of type and to make a type specimen book, it has P. Let's go. Come enjoy the festive spirit of Hallows Eve. A Halloween party, huh? Seems promising. Ooh, a sudden small vibration came from your pocket. Curious, you took out your phone, expecting another message from Soul. I doubt it. It'd be too soon. It was from Crow. Your heart leaped from your chest, recalling the events that happened earlier this afternoon. Can you meet me after class? I'll be at the front gate. You didn't send a reply. Turning off your phone, you quickly made haste to the exit. Ooh, damn. You approached the school's gate, keeping an eye out for your friend. It's very green here. Hello. Sure enough, there stood Crow in all of his glory, posture straight with his arms held behind his back, his bag neatly placed on the floor, and his foot tapping on the concrete floor nervously. Okay, what's going on? You yourself were growing nervous with each step, each step you took as you drew closer and closer to him. When you reached his side and made your presence known with a small greeting, you noticed the way Crow's eyebrows raised in mild surprise, as if not expecting you to actually show up before him. He cleared his throat before composing himself properly, his body now facing in your direction. You wanted to see me? Yes, Lifting his bag from the floor, he slings a strap over his shoulder and offers his hand for you to take. I'd like to take you somewhere. It's a bit near the park. I'll lead if you let me. I don't want to do either one. His arm? Oh, no. Does he have an outstretched hand? I didn't read that. Does he? Oh, he does. Offers his hand for you to take. Okay. That was a little bit too much. I was like, what's the least that I can do? I guess it's the hand. In return, Crow wraps his fingers around yours. I'd prefer if we didn't touch, but it's okay. His nervous smile melts into a genuine and happier one before he leads the both of you away from the school's gate into the streets. By the time you and Crow made it to the park, it was already sundown, and stars slowly started painting the sky. Is this the place you were trying to lead me to, Crow? Not quite yet. Come here. You follow him through a thicket of thick bushes, surprised to see stony stairs, though a bit run down. Damn, how many bushes are there? Though a bit run down, it seems sturdy to step foot on. Looking up, you see it leads somewhere above. You and Crow make your way up the stony stairs, some red and orange leaves coloring the steps as you and him avoid a few puddles from the rain this morning. We're here, finally. Damn, we went through a jungle together. Come, it's a sight to behold. Taking one last step, you see Crow admiring whatever was beyond him, his smile bright as his eyes twinkle like the stars above. Your eyes went wide in awe upon seeing the scenery before you, replicating the one Crow has on his face. That's a lot of tall buildings, I think. Let me look at it. Yeah. That's a big-ass city. Not once did you take into consideration the idea of sightseeing within the city. Everything felt unfamiliar, intimidating, even. You couldn't blame yourself for feeling so distressed about the idea of traveling, especially since you had no one else within the city to guide you. But gazing at the sea of lights that stretched out before you made you realize that you have been missing much of what the city has to offer. Looking farther ahead, you take notice of a tall tower decorated with bright neon pink lights. A little bit to its right is a movie theater next to a mall. The rows of other buildings with multicolored lights seemed endless. The more you scan the area, the more you see unfamiliar places that you didn't know existed. Your moment of silence while admiring the city view was interrupted by the sound of rustling grass. You turn around, finding the source of the sound. Crow has made himself comfortable lying on the ground underneath an old tree. You see his backpack leaning on its trunk. You turn your back from the city and walk to where Crow lay, deciding to keep him company. His gaze on the starry sky shifts to you as you sit down beside him, and a hopeful smile grows on his face. Judging from your face all lighting up, you like this place, huh? Care to join me? Accepting his invitation, you give Crow a slight nod that brought joy to his eyes. You stretch a bit and lay on your back right next to him, your fingers barely touching. You and Crow look at the night sky. You observe how the stars twinkle as if the rain from this morning never happened. How did you manage to find this place? You tilt your head to look at him, and he gives you a closed-eyed chuckle before his twinkling gaze meets yours. I take it that you've never heard of Lily's myth, have you, Kit? No. Crow points up at the old tree that stood above you, then returns his gaze to the stars. They say that this tree that the humans... They say that this tree that the humans came in contact with was blessed by the gods that guard this land, okay? This very same tree here used to bear multiple fruits. They say that they never rot and are free for anyone to take. Or so what the popular interpretation says, anyway. There are other versions of the myth? Crow shrugs his shoulders, he says, which is a little bit weird. You can just do it. You don't have to explain the action to me, but okay. Moving his gaze from the sky back to the tree, he stares at it, as if trying to decipher something just by the mere look at it. There are other versions, yes. Some say that the fruits are actually poisonous. Others say it's only meant for the gods and no human must take from it lest they be cursed. That sounds quite gruesome. It's no wonder they would rather use the lighter version of the myth. Crow lets out a low chuckle at your statement, nodding a bit, as if agreeing with you. I guess that might be one of the reasons. Hey, Kit. He pauses before speaking again. You perk an eyebrow at him. Yeah? This seems like a silly question. No. Lay it on me. Tell me what it is. Do you believe in gods? This question caught you by surprise. You never thought of Crow as the religious type, more so to be interested in gods. Or maybe he's just curious by the idea of them. This may be the best moment to know for sure. Ooh, I hit one of the buttons behind me and it scared me. I don't? You don't? No, I don't. I believe in one's hard work. Does that count? Crow merely chuckles at your statement. With a hand resting on his chest, he shakes his head slightly, as if he couldn't believe he just heard you say that. I don't mind the people who believe in them, I just don't like the way some of them worship the very ground these so-called gods walked on. You scoffed. I believe that everything is made possible through everyone's efforts, be it as a team or as an individual. Their believers only give credit to these deities for everything, and it's an insult to the forgotten people who sacrifice themselves to make things happen. You recall the townsfolk who endlessly praised and worshipped. What? Okay. You recall the townsfolk who endlessly praised and worshipped your patron deity for the bountiful harvest you and your family broke sweat and tears for, again with my farmer background. You watched as the efforts of your labor were all thrown to some invisible being which, as far as you knew, returned nothing but calamities, one after the other. 'Twas only a miracle that you, your father, and the damn farmland are still standing, and your crops still thriving even after so much damage. Crow notices the way your brows furrow. He says nothing, but the look in his eyes tells you that he shares your sentiments wholeheartedly. This is why we're two peas in the same pod. I said peebs. How about you? Do you believe in gods? You turn to Crow, repeating the same question he asked you earlier. He scans your face, your eyes, your nose, then your lips. His lingering gaze made you shrink back, your heart fluttering slightly. Crow seems to realize something to himself as he returns his attention to the stars above, sighing. I don't. This surprises you, and Crow laughs at your visible shock and confusion. What? You didn't think I'd be a non-believer? If I have to be honest, no. Why so? You kind of dressed like a priest. Damn. Crow's azure eyes grew wide as he broke out into one of the loudest laughs you've ever heard from him. My dogs are barking. Hold on. Okay. He laughed so hard that he had to clench his stomach and wipe at the tear-stained corners of his eyes. He was still chuckling when he unbuttons the first two studs of his black polo, revealing more of his collarbone to you. Sweet woo. You quickly avert your eyes, finding the tree's leaves to be very interesting at this moment, as you feel a familiar heat rush to your cheeks. How's that? Less formal? For fuck's sake, Ichabod. Feels like I'm seeing a Victorian woman's ankles for the first time. Crow grins at your reaction. It took the both of you a few more seconds of going back and forth with his teasing and your reprimanding him before you finally calmed down. The next few moments were spent with you pointing at the stars and Crow teaching you the constellations with a gentle whisper-like voice. You both fell silent, basking in the peace of the night. As the silence prolonged, Crow fell deep in thought. About today, Kit, and about the guys. So we're moving to this conversation next, huh? I've got to be honest. Daryl put me up on this little hangout while I was feeling down on the dumps. I think I do have to thank him for forcing me and actually gave me the courage to talk to you after class, huh? He lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding, refusing to meet your eyes. I just don't know if I upsetted you by suddenly dragging you into this group. I probably should have told you about them a long time ago, huh? I'm sorry, Kit. What are we talking about? You bit your lip. You suspected that you might have upset Crow by making him think that you didn't like the group's presence at all. I see, okay. And that he's forcing you to bend to his will. One thing to know about Crow is that he's never the type to demand, to control, to be a king, to be a tyrant. You didn't do anything wrong, Crow. In fact, I should be the one to apologize. What am I apologizing for? You speak up without thinking. Crow turns his head to look at you, his gaze swirling with confusion at your apology. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. I didn't mean to be upset, You swallow a lump in your throat, trying your best to hold the tears that were threatening to spill. I might have to go downstairs and beat up my dogs. I just thought that you'd forget about me after. They're amazing people. Let me go. I don't know what they're barking about. Nothing's happening. Anyway, Brittany's pretty. Daryl's a fun guy. Gio's so cool, and Jess is loyal. They're a great group. And most importantly, you're amazing, Crow. You're all amazing. But not me. I'm just not sure if I could ever be part of the group. You were always hidden in the shadows, no matter how much you tried to fit in. You were never to be considered. People treated you like someone to toss away, someone to use. You were worth nothing but an extra. That's what she always tells you. Who is she? You couldn't hold it back anymore. A sob escapes your lips. your vision slowly blurring as you feel wet droplets of tears finally sliding down your cheek from your eyes. For a moment, you saw panic in Crow's expression, seemingly not expecting you to burst into tears. He reaches out to hold your hand. And suddenly, you feel a pair of arms circling around you as he pulls you closer to him, letting you sob on his shoulder. He says nothing while rubbing a hand along your back, allowing you to cry, not caring about his clothes getting wet from your tears. Once you calm down, Crow rests his hand on your back, not letting you out of his embrace. Sorry, I went past it. You're amazing, Kit. I'm sorry I never got to tell you that, no matter how many times I've thought of it. I just couldn't seem to find the words. But you're amazing in your own way, Kit. You may not know it, but you're beautiful. Oh, thank you. You're funny. You're quite a phenomenon. You can feel the vibrations coming from his chest from the chuckle he emits. Heck, you're the funniest person I know. All I'm saying, Kit, is that you're amazing. You have no idea how much tears you've shed tonight. Sometimes you think it's silly and childish to cry over what was probably a trivial matter to some, but the urge to sob returned after hearing those words from him. Do you want me to call you the amazing Spider-Man? I don't think I've ever in my life wanted to be called specifically Spider-Man. You can call me amazing. I don't know that I need to be Spider-Man in order to be amazing. Just to prove that you are amazing. That made you giggle a bit as you wipe your tear-stained cheeks. With whatever strength you can muster, you slowly pulled away and lifted yourself up. Oh, hello. You sit yourself up, hovering over Crow. And there you see the very same man that made you cry by literally doing nothing. His braid came loose, you didn't know when, but his hair pooled around his head. Crow stares up at you with serene eyes, remaining silent as a gentle smile plastered on his face. There was nothing but the moon illuminating his tender features, yet to your vision, he seems to glow. He is absolutely beautiful. Oh, how you wish you could blame everything on him. If you could, you tell him that he's the reason for all the unnecessary feelings swelling in your chest. You tell him exactly how good and bad it all feels, the heartaches and butterflies fluttering about your stomach. You want to blame him, but you can't. Bro, we're such good friends. Bro, this was a great outing. You didn't feel as bad as before, but your vessel is not completely empty yet. Somehow, just by looking at Crow, at the comfort he brought you, made you want to bask in it longer until you were sure you had no tears left to shed. Leaning down once more, you bury your face in the crook of his neck, and his arms instinctively wraps around you, his hug warm and soothing as he waits for you to gather your thoughts. Crow rubs circles on your back, a silent way of telling you that he was there, you were not alone, and that he'd be there whenever you needed him. I'm going to start associating him with overdramatic, emotional blah. He didn't say a word, understanding that you need silence more than anything right now. You couldn't thank him enough for always knowing what you needed. You have no idea exactly how long you remained in that embrace while lying down on the grass, but you feel a lot better that you are ready to get back up on your feet. You pull away, meeting Crow's eyes that seem to ask after your well-being. Fixing his collar, he turns to you. Are you good to go? You could just read that from his gaze. You nod slightly, and it's only then that Crow completely releases you from his embrace, helping you sit up before he dusts off the grass that stuck to his shirt. He gives you a once-over and gently swats away the leaves on your hair and clothes. You blink at him. He only smiles at you. You get up and Crow retrieves his bag, almost forgotten, by the tree. He looks back at you and takes your hand silently. It was time to go. It was time to leave this magical place. You look at the stars, at how brightly they shone. You gave the sky one last glance before turning away, hand clasped tightly around Crow's as you let him leave you home. Crow walks you to your apartment, noting that he kept you out late at night. You bid Crow goodbye after he safely sees you inside, and he gives you a wave before turning on his heel and making his way down the stairs. You close your apartment door and lean on it, heaving a puff of air. You recall the conversation you had with Crow while you walked with him on the street leading to your home. I'm going to give the guys a chance. I think I judged them too quickly. I really liked them. It's only you who didn't like them. So I want to do better. I want to get to know them better. If you trust them, then I trust them too. Crow's expression was of surprise at your declaration, as your determined face reflected in his orbs. Crow chuckles at your enthusiasm, giving you a friendly pat on the head. I'm glad you're giving them a chance, Kit. I'm sure they will feel the same. You engaged in other conversations with Crow during your walk, the topics not really being of any importance as you have forgotten them by now, save for his gentle voice and the occasional fond glances he stole at you. Oh God, my room's very green. Time with Crow seemed to pass by so quickly. You arrived at your apartment complex before you knew it. You make your way to the living room and throw your school bag to a random corner, immediately plopping down on your sofa as you turn on the small television. Nothing interesting is going on save for some food commercials and movie trailers. That pizza looks good. Maybe I should order something. Reaching to your pockets and taking out your phone, you were about to dial the numbers on the television when a new notification bubble popped up on your notification bar. It's from a group chat you've never seen before. After scrutinizing it, you realize it was Crow who added you in. It was a group chat with the rest of his friends. You open it. Yep. Anyone want to go to the Halloween party this Friday? It's gonna be awesome. Aren't we all a little too old for costume parties? Is it required? You two are no fun at all. I won't go if it's not a school requirement, much less a waste of my time. Is it? No, it isn't. But it'll be a great and fun experience for all of us. I mean, we should loosen up a bit, you know? I agree with Crow. Count me in. Pass. I've got more important things to do than that party. Now, will you excuse me? I'll be doing my leftover tasks for tonight. Damn. Sheesh, a stick in the mud as usual. How about you, Kit? Me? You join in? It'll be fun. You were honestly surprised they somehow remembered you. Checking your calendar through your phone, you didn't seem to have any plans in the near future, or plans at all. You'd like to just spend your time in your apartment alone. I mean, sure. It's great to hear. Crow seems happy about it. You giggled. This also reminds you of something, or rather, someone. Opening another chat, you tapped in Soul's newly added contact and sent him a message by sending the image of the same poster Daryl sent. A Halloween party, hosted by the school. Yeah. I'm not quite into parties. Oh. Oh, well, that's all right. Just asking, that's all. Wait. If you're coming, then I'm coming as well. Really? Really? Do you plan on dressing up? I don't know, do you? I mean, it's a costume party, so why not? I'll try to think of something then. You swear you can feel the smile behind those words. Hello. With a quick word of goodbye, you set your phone down when you heard your doorbell. That must be the food delivery I didn't know I had delivered already. Or I didn't know I had ordered already. Okay, my room's blue, but my living room's green. Afterwards, you ate your dinner and prepared yourself for bed. You thought about the events that happened today, meeting the group, meeting Soul, and most especially your little hangout with Crow. Each and every moment is a special occasion on its own. Letting out a big yawn as you stretched your body. You turned to your laundry, slowly spilling. Nope. You turned to your laundry, slowly piling up and You turn to your laundry, slowly piling up, and scratch your head. We'll probably do laundry tomorrow. But for now, you plop yourself on the soft cushions of your bed, getting into a comfortable position and slowly dozing off as you closed your eyes, embracing sleep as the night goes. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. The one who loves. I was a child, she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. Thank you, Edgar Allan Poe, yet again. Anyway, day 2. Why am I outside? The sun was setting by the horizon. Colors, huh? The sun setting by the horizon colors the grassy fields into a deep golden orange as the wind made some strands of hair brush across your face. Your ever-beloved home, the tall grass, the fresh air, the various farm animals that you and your family raised since you were but a mere child. You can't even imagine what was happening before you right now as a group of people came while they talked with your father. Your only family member left. You see the distress in your father's eyes as he tries his best to negotiate with the people before him. The desperation in his voice, the sweat running down his neck as he moves around his hand, gesturing this and that. Please just give me more time. I promise I can pay up. This is all we have left. I don't know where else to go if we lose the farmland. We've given enough chances already. If you don't pay up your debt, we will take your land. The loud ringing of the school bell rang across the hallway, making you jerk out of your thoughts. Students came out through their classroom doors. You feel someone shaking you awake. You sat up and met face to face with Crow. Well, good morning, Sleeping Beauty. You let out a yawn. You rubbed your eyes as you looked around. Your fellow classmates are now gone from their seats, as it is now lunchtime. What did I miss? Nothing important, though if you're having doubts, I can lend you my notes afterwards. Thanks, Crow. You're a lifesaver. Anything for you, Kit. You recalled the little dream you had. You quickly shake it off as you let out a stretch, popping a few joints before you got up and went out of your classroom with Crow in tow. You met up with your friends, seeing Daryl with Gio and Crow waiting by the lockers, Brittany coming along behind them, and Jess. You waved at them. Oh, here we go again. Okay, music. Good noon to you all. Regards, Daryl. How was class? Boring and boring. So glad to be out of there. One more useless minor and I'll be out of here. Gio just shrugged, a hand in his hoodie pocket while the other is on his phone. We've got to at least do something in our major today, though, which I'm glad about. More papers, but at least it was something. Enough about papers. So about the Halloween party, any ideas for a costume yet? As I talked with each other, at the corner of your eye, you noticed a familiar figure. No way! It was Soul. He came out of a classroom, and another person came afterwards behind him, seemingly bored out of his mind. I don't think he would like being called over. I don't know what to do. I'm just vibing to the music. I'm just dancing over here. Let's go over? I keep every single time you hear that noise. It's me hitting the buttons behind my head. You turn toward head to Crow in a shy manner, almost hesitant to ask. What do I have to ask? Crow, is it okay if I leave? I have somewhere to be at. Why do I have to ask? Is that so? There was a slight disappointment in his voice, but he lets you continue on. Yeah. Sorry I couldn't hang out. Nonsense. I'll see you after lunch instead then. Oh, apparently I'm not eating because of this. If ever you're interested, of course. I don't want any more drama with you. Sure thing. You give Crow one last smile before heading over to where Soul and his companion is. Save me from whatever sappy, emotional crap I'm about to get again. You walk towards the two individuals. They seem to be in deep conversation. However, Soul noticed your appearance and stopped talking, his attention now on you. His companion noticed the change in his friend's demeanor and follows his gaze as it lands on you. I want to know who this is. The shorter male greeted you with a smile. Hi there, you're friends with Sunny? That's cute. Sunny. He pats Soul at the back, causing the taller male to jerk slightly forward. Soul gives him an irritated look, observing the way his face is slowly turning red. You know, because he's such a sunshine. He's Sunny. You let out a small giggle, shifting your eyes towards Soul as he catches your gaze on his. Hey, by the way, your hand's good today. Congrats. Upon landing eye contact, Soul quickly averts his gaze away from yours, holding up his hand as he tries his hardest to hide his face away. Like a nickname? Yeah, Sunny loves the nickname I gave him, right, Sunny? Soul remains silent, still refusing to meet your gaze. That's adorable. For a moment, the three of you were silent before the shorter male speaks up once more. You sure have taste, Sunny. They're very pretty, like you said. Thank you. A blush makes its way to your face. Scratching the back of your head, you bit your bottom lip as you let out a small thank you. Anyway, nice to meet you. My name's Hugo. I'm this big old grumpy's best friend. Kit, a pleasure to meet you, too. He extends his hand for you to take, in which you merely accept, shaking it and puts it back on its side, a smile on his face as he did so. So, anyway, what are you up to, Kit? I'm getting away from the emotional drama that is Crow. I just saw you both and wanted to greet you. More importantly, you checked Soul's hand, seeing the bandage now gone. You assumed it got better quickly, but you want to make sure. Are you all right now? Soul knows exactly what you were talking about before giving you a nod and a small smile. Can you guys see that I'm still dancing? Yeah, you can. If you need me, I'm just in the background doing this. I'm doing better. It might leave a scar, but it's nothing for me to worry about. Huh? What? You got injured? Nothing for you to worry about. Soul quickly diminishes his friend, damn. Or he dismisses his friend, not wanting him to bombard him with unnecessary questions. Seeing that the taller male refuses to even give him a moment to explain himself, Hugo drops the thought with a shake of his head. Hugo turns his attention back to you. Anyway, we're planning to go to the rooftop today and eat lunch there. Ooh. The weather's doing better, unlike yesterday. You want to tag along with us? Sure. You guys aren't a fan of the cafeteria? Upon mentioning the cafeteria, Soul shivered, as Hugo only gave a small chuckle. Sunny isn't a huge fan of the noise there. Understandable. I heard there was a food fight that happened yesterday. There was. I got hit on the head with a metal tray. Right? Though not gonna lie, a food fight sounds fun. No, not really. What are you, high school? At least I passed because I thought this line was over. At least have a bit of. Nope. At least have fun a little bit, Sonny. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get going, shall we? Sure. Hugo walks to his usual spot. Apparently, I know where exactly that is, and got himself seated on a bench that you somehow never took notice of before. Have I ever been on the roof? Soul follows along, and in his hands is a large wrapped box that caught your interest. I don't know. I turned the music off by going back. We were starting to get into something, and then I hit the back button. It's like, nope. There we go. It's starting again. So it just says he's seated on a bench and Soul's following. I feel weird inserting myself between them. And I'm going to say, because this is my first time meeting Hugo, that's probably not the best option. So I guess I'll say Soul, but I don't really care. Soul notices you from the corner of his eye, the edges of his lips moving upward. He pointed to the box nestled in Soul's hands. Is that your lunch? You can say that, okay. As Soul unwraps the cloth, showing you 3 boxes, he takes out the first bento box that was settled on top, before giving the second one to Hugo. Hugo happily accepts the box, thanking Soul before taking out his chopsticks. Ooh. Opening the container, Hugo lets out an awe sound, his eyes sparkling, drool slowly seeping out of the corner of his open mouth. You actually listened, and did you cut these tiny sausages into octopuses? That's cute. That's cute. I've been thinking about doing that just to try it out, just to give it some pizzazz, but I don't know what to put sausages in. Especially tiny sausages. I only ever have like pigs in a blanket, and that doesn't really. You can't make octopus pigs in a blanket, octopi in a blanket. There's not really a point, you know? I thought about maybe doing it for like mac and cheese, but I get called weird for putting hot dogs in mac and cheese. It goes together, I swear. Keep your voice down, it's ringing in my ear. Wait, I need to take a picture of it. Placing the box gently on his lap, Hugo rummages through his pockets before taking out his phone. Yep. Opening his phone's camera, he flips it horizontally, then starts clicking away, taking 1 or 2 photos. We're not sure? Hugo lifts the container back into his hands, but not before turning to you and showing you what he keeps gushing about. Oh my. I actually get to see it. Oh my god, that's so cute. Isn't it adorable, Kit? It is. Oh my god. There you see our various ranges of food with the rice shape to match a moth. Okay, I wasn't 100% sure what it was, but yeah, I could see it. I was like, bunny, moth, seaweed to design the face, along with using a cabbage leaf to form its wings. I get it, I see it. Right below the moth are mini sausages shaped like octopus. Wonderfully cut carrots were made to look like stars, and squeezed beside stuffed shiitake mushrooms. The egg roll sushi and broccoli with melted cheese as a dip looked delicious. I almost feel too bad to eat it, especially on how cute this little guy is. Hugo points at the silk moth-shaped rice. I agree. What? Itadakimasu. I can read. I can't actually read. I was really surprised by all the sudden Japanese showing up. Without wasting another second, Hugo starts digging in, scarfing down on the rice, like a wild, hungry animal. Did you make this by yourself, Soul? Sorry, I'm still surprised by the Japanese. You can say that. Soul answers, opening his own container. He thought you'd see another form of food art Soul made by Soul himself within the container, but instead was greeted by a simple ham and cheese sandwich. Damn, you don't even do it for yourself? That's so sad. He takes out a slice, but before he can take a bite, he turns to you. Have you eaten, Kit? I would assume not. Why is this a question that you're asking me? If we're breaking for lunch, what? I hit it every single time. I'm gonna say no. Soul's eyes went wide and Hugo gave you a shocked look. I don't know when. Before you knew it, Soul takes out another box and settles it onto your lap. You can have this. It's an extra for some reason. Who knows why? Why do you have an extra? I didn't like how this looked. But I figured I can let Hugo finish it. It's a waste of ingredients. You don't have to, Soul, really. No, I insist. Oh, for fuck's sake, just eat the same box. Hugo, who clearly had enough of the back and forth banter, suggests the idea before returning to his own box. Soul hesitates, but he eventually takes out a spoon and a fork, handing them to you. Ooh. I want to know what these words are. I don't want to, double down on it until I know what I'm saying. I like choosing these options. But I feel like we don't know each other enough. It depends on what I say. You declined his offer? What am I doing? No. No, I hid my face. That's why my tracking suddenly paused. No, I'm not doing that. Accepting the fork, you cut up a piece of the octopus-shaped sausage. You took a bite and chewed. I'm embarrassed by that. Hold on. I literally went to go sit on the other side of the room and stare at the wall for a little bit. I was like, nope, not doing it. I can't remember if I read this line or not, so. The mixture of flavors, how the rice remains warm and fluffy, and the sausage's savory taste helps balance it out, sends a warm tingling feeling down your spine from your mouth. It's amazing. It's delicious. Soul, this is really good. Hugo nods along with you with gusto, food stuffed in one cheek like a hamster. I know, right? You'd honestly be surprised. Soul. I was thinking the exact same thing. Let's go. Soul's eyes wide. I wasn't thinking house husband. I was thinking you'd be a great wife. But same thing. Soul's eyes widened at your declaration. You really think so? I really do think so. He says, do you want to get married to me? Soul is definitely house husband material, Kit. He can cook, he can clean, he can do anything. I'd rather not be your own personal butler. That was a compliment. The two banter, but you couldn't help. Nope. You couldn't help looking at Soul and the way his eyes sparkle. They almost remind you of bright fireworks during the new year. Hugo eventually finished his own box, tucking it away and wrapping it back up. Standing up from the bench, Hugo stretched out his limbs and paced a few steps forward, before turning to look at you and Soul with hands on his hips. Is this what you guys do every day? Or at least when you both get together? You raised a question. Hugo turns his head to you with a slight tilt. What do you mean? You mean Soul giving me lunch? He just keeps forgetting to bring his own. Hugo pouts. And you never finish yours, so I do the honors of ever finishing good food. Thank you very much. Those bento box art. What inspired them, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, you didn't know? Shut it, go go. Go go? Oh, now we're using the nicknames now, Sonny. How sweet of you. You see, Kit, my old pal here just makes food art like the typical artist that he is, but he never bothers to finish it, much less eat it. And he really loves cute things like. With a finger under his chin, Hugo ponders for a short moment, trying to remember something from the top of his head, but to no avail. He turns to his friend, his arms crossed, seemingly uninterested in answering whatever inquiry Hugo is going to throw at him. What was the name of your plushed horse, Sonny? Like hell am I answering that? Boo. He owns a plush horse? Soul? Owns plushies? Soul bites his lips, his face turning red upon the reveal of his little secret. That's so cute. You're just full of surprises, Soul. He says nothing as he fixes his choker. The red blush tinting his face makes its way to the tip of his ears, but appreciates her compliment nonetheless. Looks can be deceiving. This makes you wonder. Why do people never bother to notice him? Why don't people want to get to know him? Maybe they just never gave him the chance because of how he looks, not to mention his intimidating height. But he isn't like that at all. In fact, he can be considered a gentle giant. Maybe. Time passed for a while, and now Hugo and Soul are both leaning against the railings, observing the view below them. I can't speak. Curious, you make your way to where they were. Hugo and Soul seem to be looking at something below, their faces solemn and serious. Hugo's face is blank, while Soul's expression is a mixture of irritation and aggravation. You look down, and there you see a group of well-dressed people, but what makes them stand out is not from the way they dress, but from the way they carry themselves. They're clearly not from here. But the school's logo on their uniform's chest pocket says otherwise. They look so fancy. They look rich, dangerous. You couldn't help but hold your gaze on the smallest one in the group, an adult man. You're guessing that he must be a staff member, maybe a teacher, but what sticks out about him is the eye patch on his face and a large scar behind it. It sends a shiver down your spine. High-class mugs. Soul exclaims, pure disgust coating his tone, not hiding it a single bit as he pulls away from the railings and returns to the benches where you last were. High class. You don't know about the hierarchy? No. Not that I'm aware of. This is the first time I've ever heard of it. How come I've never heard or seen one of them throughout my school years here? Hugo lets out a low chuckle, his attention still on the group below him. Then his gaze darkened, the usual happy-go-lucky attitude you've come to know disappeared in a flash, as if the person before you is a whole different person. I don't blame you. No one likes talking about them anyway. What are we doing? What's up with this animation? Tell me about the hierarchy. It's like a hidden thing, but that's what we call it. The school. No, the entire city. It's like a fighting pit. Whoever is the most powerful has a better chance in living a good life here. People come to the school to gain a second chance in life, but to achieve that, you have to make yourself well known. Make them think you're worth their time. If not, you're on your own. Okay. He sends a chilling glare down at the group below. The school building isn't actually the real thing. But the school map clearly says that the address is. That's where they actually fool you. You might think you got it right, but we are sorted based on our background. The real school building? Way farther than where we are, and their campus is 10 times bigger and better. They get proper classes, have better equipment, everything is just better. Here, we only get the short end of the stick. The afterthought, if you will. If I have to guess, the well-off are in the main building. That's right. Son of a duke, daughter of a businessman. Heck, as long as you're rich, you're in. Your chances for having better education rest there. If you're part of the high class, then you'll have a better chance of having a successful and stable life. But don't we have students here who are like super rich? You recall Crow introducing you to Jess, her being the daughter of a family owning a large company. But how come she's not part of the high class? There are some who ended up shifted down and moved to our building. Either they failed a class or got a violation. They didn't want that type of stain on their reputation, so they sent them here. Of course, some didn't appreciate that. They see us as someone lower than them, hence. Hugo glances back at Sol, the said male now busying himself with his sketch pad. A soft look flashed in his eyes, like how a mother would worry over their child. There, you understood something. Oh. They have to fight the weak to feel something, huh? They sound like nothing but bullies. How come someone didn't step up to complain? Hugo laughs at your words as if you told him the best joke of his life. He shakes his head in disagreement. If only it was that easy. His laughter dies down, his expression back to being solemn as he scratches the back of his head. Actually, Kit, in this city, no one really gives a shit. Money is the only thing revolving around this city. You got no cash, you're done for. Which is why people like us, he turns to look at you dead in the eyes, are desperate to get into the higher class. If you so dare complain. He pauses, contemplating on the next set of words he's going to say, his mouth opening and closing like a guppy out of water. Instead, he gives you a warning look. His sky blue eyes that once reminded you of summer skies are now cold, like sharp icicles about to pierce you. You're better off dead. With one last look below, Hugo lets out a sigh as he turns to look somewhere else, trying to shove away the thoughts clouding his mind. But that's the sad reality here. The attention is good, great even. Your chances to get a stable life and even have a knock to stardom is high once you're part of the high class, much less graduate there. I have nothing else to ask. The city is corrupted, he mutters under his breath. Which makes me question, Kit. How were you able to get into the city? No, the better question is, why did you enroll in this school, if you don't mind me asking, that is? You're clearly not from here. Your eyes widen at the words that well-dressed man said. No, I refuse. Kit, I thought I told you to stay inside. It's going automatically by itself. You are not taking this farm, my home. You cut your father's words off, marching towards the tall man with loud and heavy footsteps. The tall man, however, raised a brow at you, raising his hand to halt his men. His deep magenta eyes then turned to look straight into your eyes. It sent a chill down your spine. Oh, work it, girl. A bit feisty seeing that this is our first time meeting, right? Let me introduce myself first. My name is... But you may call me Mr. Z. And as for our little agenda, how about this, little lamb? If you manage to pay off your debts for the next 5 years, I'll let you off the hook and let you keep your land. 5 years, you can handle that. Maybe working 3 jobs would do it for you. Uh-uh. He tuts, waving a finger in front of your face. He looks down at you, reminding you of your place, a mischievous smile appearing on his handsome features. But I have some conditions you need to meet. You went silent. Your heart starts pounding in your chest as you keep eye contact with his sharp magenta orbs. I want you to stay in the city. The city? But we can't even afford to take them to college. What more moving in the city? Your father interrupts the man mid-sentence. The man merely gives your father a side glance, making the old man freeze on his feet before returning his gaze back to you. No need to worry, they'll be under my jurisdiction, of course. I'll provide for their education and accommodation. Suddenly, he burst out in laughter, throwing his head back a bit as if he just heard a very funny joke. See? I'm not that cruel. Wouldn't you agree, Kit? But just like I said before, I want you to pay off your debt. Land doesn't come in cheap, darling. And I've been very patient with how long this land's payment's been postponed. A sudden jerk of your collar made your heart jump, his face now mere inches away from yours, his brows furrowed in anger and filled with spite. Kit, not one step, old man. He screams at your father, not sparing him a glance as he kept his hold on your collar. You try to claw his hands away from it, but to no avail, seeing that you are losing more air the more you struggle. Listen here, punk. I don't care what kind of method you're going to do in order to make money. A dark smile appeared on his face. It sends a shiver down your spine. Being a good citizen and get a part-time job like the rest, or whore yourself out in strip clubs. Legal or illegal. I don't fucking care. As long as you reach the amount. If not, well, you can say goodbye to your little farmland. He says that, but there is a gleam in his eye that's telling you that's not all. Letting go of your collar, he steps back as you greedily take in the air that you lost, tears making its way towards your eyes, threatening to drop. So, little fawn, what's it going to be? You bit the bottom of your lip. You turned to look at your father. His eyes were clearly telling you to decline. You didn't want to comply with this man's words, much less take his offer. You think he might throw you another form of debt for letting him fund you to go to the city. There was something about this man that screams dangerous. But you were too desperate to not lose your home. Your only home. Tick-tock, sweet thing, I haven't gotten all day. The tall man's gaze still fixed on you, waiting for your answer. Do you accept? You recall the dream you had this morning, felt as if it happened yesterday. Despite the events that happened nearly 4 years ago, you're still being haunted by the deal the tall man offered to you. Hugo observes the way your face hardened, the way your eyebrows arched, and a drop of sweat dropping amidst the cool autumn wind. There, he understood. Let me guess, it's something you can't avoid. I honestly don't know. My father never really disclosed as to why we were in debt. But I was so desperate not to lose my only home. I need to make it up to the higher class no matter what. 3 jobs isn't cutting off the way I want it to be. I'm running out of time. This is my last year in this cursed university, and I'm barely making any progress. Hugo's gaze remains on your figure. You realize that you haven't answered his question yet. My family owns a farm in the south. You finally speak, making Hugo perk up his eyebrows in curiosity. What sort of farm does your family have? Well, we have some wheat fields and we tend to animals such as cows and horses. Horses. Bet Soul's going to love that place. That sounds nice. I'd love to be out of the city once in a while. You gave him a small smile. Yeah, some might say it's boring, but it's not. You get to pet horses and cows. Well, you should really invite me or even Soul over there, then, if ever. Having you give us a tour there would be a great change of scenery. But that means you're a long way from home. Don't you miss it? A little bit. That's all right. It's normal to feel a little homesick. I heard great things about this city, about this school. Hugo remained quiet, listening to you as you went on. If I can manage to come out on top and maybe part of the higher class, like you said, then I can maybe save my family's farm. Crossing his arms, he says nothing as he looks at you one last time before letting out an endearing chuckle. You remind me of them. Like them? I'm rambling, don't mind me. Having caught red-handed, he waves his hands around in slight panic, his face now red as a cherry. You tilt your head in confusion. Just then, you felt a presence behind you. Turning around, you're met with Soul. His glare is stingy and directed at Hugo. The shorter male, however, didn't mind it, probably used to it. It's almost time. We should head back. All right. Nothing else to do, the three of you left the rooftop. You take one step down, looking up and ready to converse with Soul and Hugo, when you suddenly lose your footing. There I go. Whoa, you all right there, kid? Yeah, thank you, Soul. Eyes wide in shock, you hold on to Soul's arm tight, his other arm wrapped around your waist as he pulls you close to his chest. Hello. You can feel both of your heartbeats run. Pulling away, you steady your footing, observing the stairs, cursing at how weirdly formed it is. Be careful next time. Sheesh, the school and its bad architecture, also one of the few flaws here. The stairs are all wonky. It's also why it's forbidden to go up here. We're troublemakers, though. Hugo lets out a cocky grin, then goes down the stairs with much ease, as if it's nothing to him. What a fucking menace. Turning to Soul, you grab hold of his shoulder. He did not mind as you use him as a guide in descending down the stairs. The school bell rang throughout the hallway, signaling the start of next classes. Hugo lets out a groan. I don't want to go to class. I hate my history teacher as much as my coach in archery. Why don't you skip then? Hugo's eyes popped open. It became bright like a light bulb appearing out of his head and lighting up. Soul knows exactly what that look means. Don't tell me I'm going to skip class. How about it? Fuck this school. If they're going to treat us badly, then let's be the bad guys. A mischievous look makes its way to Hugo's face. Soul already knew what that looks mean, sighing as he did so. He turns to you, waiting for your response to Hugo's offer. The thought of skipping is quite a gamble. Your next class is with Crow in art history. But then again, your teacher will probably only do some boring-ass introduction. Missing one wouldn't hurt, would it? I'm not the type who would skip a class. Although the idea of skipping seems thrilling, you can't afford to skip this one. Who knows what important projects your teacher is going to throw at you, and you're going to end up behind just because of skipping one class. Thank you for the offer, you two, but I can't afford to miss this one. Hugo's shoulders slumped down, quite disappointed. That's all right. Maybe we can hang out next time then. Soul turns to you. Would you like me to accompany you to your next class? Of course. I appreciate that. I'll see you at the usual spot, Sol. Sol nods at Hugo before the said male walks away, waving off as he leaves. You and Sol walk through the hallway towards your next class's classroom. You couldn't help but check on Sol. He seems nervous. You look down and see that his hand is shaking. What? There's two ways that this can go, and I'm not sure which way the game means. I want to see what this is like. Don't do like the food thing from earlier. You gently wrapped your hand around his hand stopped shaking, and he went stiff. Well, there's that, at least. He eventually relaxed and intertwined his fingers with yours. This makes you smile. The walk is silent, but no words needed to be said to see the growing smile on his face. Okay? That didn't really tell me anything. You didn't bother with him anymore is such a sad thing to hear. No, I will actually, because I don't like that line. You didn't bother with him anymore. Damn. Fine. Anyway, nothing really happens, so. You finally reached the front of your classroom door. You peeked inside through the door's window and saw Crow on his usual seat already. You turned your attention back to Sol. Thank you for escorting me to my class. No, it's not a problem. His tiny smile didn't last long on his face, however. His shoulders slumped down. Though I could have wished you could come with us. Maybe next time. I would not skip a class, I'm sorry. Maybe we can hang out on a weekend or on a free schedule. Sure. Now I feel bad. His words contradict his expression as it lacks enthusiasm. Just then, the door to your classroom opened, and there you met eyes with Crow. Crow's eyes lit up once he saw you. There you are, Kit, just in time for the next class. Oh? He was about to greet you, but felt Sol's presence beside him. And who might this fellow be? A classmate of yours? You can say that. Crow, this is Sol. He's from my art class. Sol, this is Crow. A pleasure to meet you, Sol. Crow extended out his hand for Sol to shake. Sol just stared at it. A few awkward seconds passed by before he eventually took Crow's hand. Let's go, let's be nice, come on. Sol, however, wasn't regulating his strength as he gripped his Crow's hand with some words. Can we maybe not? Crow winced from the pressure but didn't say anything before Sol eventually let go of his hand. Sol then turned to you. I should be going now, Kit. I'll see you soon. I wished you would have come with. Damn. He's bullying me, making me feel bad for it. He sighed, reaching out to tuck a loose strand of hair away from your face, earning him a small blush from you. Sol turned on his heel and walked off. You looked at his retreating figure before Crow eventually tapped your shoulder. We should get going. With one last glance at Sol's retreating figure, you turned around and got inside your classroom. There we go. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm thinking about like recording and how this will work, but we should be good. I'm going to go ahead and end this here for now, though. I know it's only been like 2 hours, but I'm getting tired of reading. Which one of these do you think is save and which one is load? I'm gonna say the things behind me. I'm gonna say this is save. Cool. There we go. 1531. You're right. You're right. I just don't know military time. And then return. Yeah, we'll do the rest for next time. I'm surprised by how long that this is so far. And I'm a little bit surprised by the way that it's going. It felt, especially in the beginning and in like Crow's sections, very childish, over emotional, and just kind of like I didn't like those sections, but I feel like the soul sections are a little bit more normal. Is that weird to say? And I know that this game sort of pits them against each other, especially with this thing up here, which is showing, oh, 5 and 6. Oh no. So we'll see how that goes. Whether or not I've made bad decisions or anything. But like I said, I'm getting tired of reading, talking, and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here for now. We will pick this back up next time. Thank you for joining me in trying out this game. I hope that you are enjoying it. I think I am so far. We still haven't really seen anything horrendous, but it's going pretty okay. And I will see you next time for some more of The Kid at the Back.